Students, in this class we will learn the importance of variable in R. Now, in general, what is a variable? Now, let me write it down here. Variable is a container that holds some information, and that information we call it as data. Of course, there are many different types of data. We will talk about it later. So, as of now, you can just visualize this variable as, say, a box. Now, this particular box can be used to house some chocolates or some jewelry, right? So, the point here is, if you are going to place in chocolates, would you say, for example, let me just ask you this question. Now, you have this box, you are placing chocolates into this particular box. Let us consider it to be like that, right? Milk chocolates, truffles, and so on. My question would be, would you use the same box to save the jewelry or put in the jewelry? In other words, you have chocolates, lot of chocolates here, and you have your precious jewelry here. My question is that would you take your jewelry also and place it over the chocolates? Would you do that? We won't do that, right? Number one, your jewelry will get spoiled. Number two, also your chocolates will be spoiled. So these two things are going to be occurring. So we don't do that. So if the box is for chocolates, we store chocolates. If you don't want the box to have chocolates, you take the chocolates out and you bring in the jewelry inside, right? So variables are just like the containers. They are just like the containers where we use to store some things. And the only speciality here is, if we are going to put in something into the container, it should be of that nature, or that it should be of unique characteristics. So we don't put jewelry with chocolates together. We don't do that. It is either jewelry or chocolate. So have that in mind. Now I'm going to show you some examples using RStudio. So as I mentioned, RStudio has got 4 windows. So the first one is to run scripts. Second one, I'm going to show you some codes. So how do we use codes to run codes? And of course, this window gives us history, and this window is for charts. Of course, I'm going to show you how to use them all. So now first, let me declare a variable called box. Now box is equal to, I say chocolates, right? Chocolate. So in languages like Java, we place a semicolon. So we don't need to do all these things in R. So R is such a blessing. So I have given box is a variable to be equal to chocolate. So now I'm just typing box here and giving enter. Okay, if I were to do that, I get the output as chocolates. Okay, now let me show you one more example. Say box 1. Say box 1 is equal to chocolates, and then box 2 is equal to, say, jewelry. You have to have this in mind. I can never do this. This is not possible. I cannot say box 1 plus box 2. So I can never do this. In R, we cannot actually add non-numeric data. So if I were to enter this, if I were to run it, it would give me an error. Okay, so have that in mind. This is not possible. Adding non-numeric data is not possible in R. So let us do another example to demonstrate numeric data. So to clear the screen, use Control L. It will get cleared. Now I can take box 1 is equal to, say, 23, and box 2 is equal to 44, and I type box 1, I get it. I type box 2, I get it. Now I'm going to say box 3 is equal to box 1 plus box 2. It's fine. and now I'm printing box 3. I'm getting the value. Okay, so if you want to add numeric data, this is the way you can do it. Now you can in fact now assign a new value. Say box 1 is equal to say 12.2. It doesn't matter. If you were to type box 1, R understands this and takes the value as 12.2. Now if I were to take box 2 is equal to 9.8987, and if I were to type box 2, it will get the value is 9.897. Of course, if you were to take box 3 is equal to box 1 plus box 2 and get the value of box 3, and we are getting that specification. So that is the beauty of R. You don't need to be type declaring like in the case of C language or the case of Java, declaring these data types. So R understands that, and that is the reason, one of the reasons it is so popularly used. Okay, so today we have understood how to handle non-numeric data. We have also understood that non-numeric data cannot be added. Now, concatenation is different. I'm not going to talk about it now. I will come back later. Now, when we are assigning values within quotes, automatically R treats them as non-numeric and we can't add them. Have that in mind. And next, if you want to add numeric data, if you want to assign numeric data, simply assign them without quotes, and the specification, whether it's float or integer, it doesn't matter, or automatically understands that and gives the output. So that completes our lesson on assigning values for variables and how exactly we can add them.